Today's look is this corpse bride look. I did paint my whole chest area. I did the dress, did this. I played around with negative space today, so as you can see my background is black, and I did black out like parts of my neck, and then also as you could see on my sides and on my waist I blacked out some areas there as well, so when I take pictures it will look like I created a different shape than what my body actually looks like, if that makes sense. I was gonna save this look until Halloween, but I just love it so much. I did do a corpse bride look last year during Halloween, so I thought, let's not do that twice. But I really wanted to recreate this because I didn't like the one I did last year, so this is my new updated version, and I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I had a lot of fun doing this. This one took me only 4 hours, so not as long as some of my other full torso pieces lately. They usually take me 6 hours, but today it was only 4 hours. If you guys would like to see how I got this Emily / corpse bride look, then please keep watching. Alright, so getting started today, we are going to start with our chest. I always feel like doing the chest is best, and then going to your face. That way your face doesn't look greasy, you know, things like that. First, I'm taking my Milk Jumbo Eye Pencil from NYX, and I'm outlining the top of the wedding dress and the bone arm. One of her arms is just a bone, so we're going to create some negative space around that and make it look like just a bone. Then I'm taking the Makeup Forever Flash Paint in blue, and then I'm taking their Aqua XL, it's their new paints, and I'm taking a white from that line and I'm mixing them together. The Aqua XL paints are a lot more dry than the Flash paints, and they're a little bit easier to get off when you mix them with the Flash paints. They kind of crust off almost. I mean, if you put water on it, it doesn't go anywhere, but they're a little bit easier to take off when mixed together. Now I'm taking my same pencil and I'm outlining my neck, and I'm kind of cutting off my shoulders a little bit. Again, we're doing some negative space today, so I'm going to fill in the sides of my neck and the tops of my shoulders black. I'm just trying to replicate with the corpse bride Emily's shape. If you look at reference pictures of her, she has a very skinny neck, and her shoulders are more straight, I guess you could say. Next, I'm taking my Urban Decay Electric palette, and I'm going to be using this dark blue shade. It has no shimmer, it's a matte shade, and it's perfect for any types of blue characters you do. Now I am basically drawing out her collarbone. She has a V-shaped collarbone, and they're very prominent if you look at reference pictures. Again, that's what I was doing the whole time. So I'm just taking a smaller brush to create that line, and then a big fluffy brush to really blend that out and make sure everything looks nice and blended. But I am keeping the line sharp on the tops of the collarbones in the middle there. Next, I'm taking my Snazzaroo face paint. This is just white, and I'm going to be filling in the wedding dress. I did go all the way down my torso, and I also did some negative space on the sides there, so it looks like my waist is really small, but I don't show that. I don't want to show that area on, you know, the internet. Now I'm just shading behind the white dress with that same blue eyeshadow, and then I'm taking black right up against the lines and just deepening the shadows. And then I also took a very thin line of black paint along that dress just to make sure it popped and make sure that you could really see the shadow. Now I am moving on to my face. I'm taking my non-toxic washable purple glue stick, and I'm going to be covering my eyebrows today. I'm just going back and forth on the brows to make sure they all get coated, and then I'm taking my spoolie and I'm really brushing those hairs out and laying them down in the direction that they would lay naturally. I'm not brushing them straight up. And then I do that a couple of times. I just go over it with the glue stick a few times, smooth everything out, and it will dry clear. While it's drying, make sure you get your disposable sponge. Make sure it's fully dried before you do this. Take your translucent setting powder and go ahead and set both of the brows. You can use a color corrector as well if you're going to be using, you know, a neutral skin tone for your look, but since we're doing blue, I can just put the blue paint right on top and it covers it pretty well. Taking my Smashbox Photo Finish Primer, I'm priming my whole face. And then doing the same thing we did for the chest, I'm laying down the blue first, and then I'm doing the white. The white dries a lot faster, as I mentioned, so I like to lay the blue down first and then kind of work in small areas. Otherwise, it will look patchy because the white does dry so fast. And with this stuff, you don't have to set the whole thing because, like I said, the white is a little bit more of a dry substance, so it doesn't stay tacky or sticky. Then I am doing my under eyes with just the white to kind of brighten it up a little bit, blending it out some with a bigger brush. And then I'm going over the brows one more time with some paint just to make sure they're nice and covered. Doing the shadow, I'm using the same blue from the Electric palette. I also primed my lids with the Too Faced Shadow Insurance. And then I'm bringing the shadow up towards my brow in the inner corner there to kind of create that sad type of look. And I'm blending it out into the brow bone. I really start taking it up more towards the inner corner of the brow, as you'll see in a moment. And I'm taking it all the way to the inner corner of the eye as well and blending it out. And I'm trying to keep it in more of a circular shape. I'm not trying to create a cat eye shape whatsoever. Taking my concealer, I'm creating a very round shape on my lid. I'm really cutting that crease. I just want to replicate somewhat her eyeball shape like she has in the movie. They're really round. So to replicate that somewhat, I'm just making my lid very, very round. Like I said, no cat eye, no winged liner, none of that today. We want roundness. And then I just covered that with some white shadow. Taking a darker blue, I'm going into the crease and I'm blending that up. This is just creating some definition and really making that white area pop, and then make sure you blend it out a little bit so there's no harsh lines. Do the same for both sides. The color I'm using is a bit more of a teal shade, but it is darker than the Electric palette, the blue in that palette. Now I'm creating the eyebrows. I was totally looking off of a reference picture, and they are very straight, and then they kind of go up in the center there a little bit, and then they go straight, and then they go down. So they look really sad. She looks sad even when she's smiling. I'm just using my Mehron Paradise paint in black for this. This is why I covered up my brows, because my brows really are like the opposite shape of these, so it was best to cover them. Then I'm taking my LA Splash Cosmetics Pro Artist Body Art Liner in Alabaster. It's just white, but this liner is super creamy, so it's really easy to blend out. I just kind of highlighted my brow a little bit and then tapped it out to blend it into my shadow. Fill in your waterline with that same Milk NYX Cosmetics pencil, and go down below your waterline a little bit on your lash line and try to make it as circular and round as you can. Then I'm taking that same teal shade we used on the top and I'm just outlining the bottom lash line, but I'm creating it larger than my natural one to make my eyes more round, and then kind of blend that shadow out a little bit. Now I'm cutting my jawline a lot because I'm trying to replicate Emily's face shape, so I'm really cutting that. When you take pictures, the negative space will kind of do its own thing with the black background. So right now in the video it may look a little odd, but in the pictures, as you probably have seen, it looks really cool and it really kind of creates that shape that's not really there, if that makes sense. But I'm just making my jaw a lot smaller and my chin a little shorter than it actually is. Taking my Sephora Fancy Blue liquid liner, I'm doing a little bit of liner on the top eye. I'm just doing a round shape. Again, no cat eyes, no winged liners. I'm just trying to make my eyes look a little bit more round than they actually are. For lashes today, I'm using these really dramatic lashes. So instead of using them on the right eye, like how it's longer on the end there, and I should be doing it on the other eyeball, I want the longer lashes to be in the center of my eyes to keep going with that kind of sad eye look. If that makes sense, I really hope it does. Then I'm shading my chin a little bit with that blue shadow. Put the lashes on. Like I said, you want to put the lashes on backwards, basically. So the one you put on the left eye should go on the right eye. The one you put on the right eye should go on the left eye. That way it goes from long in the center of the eye to short on the outer part of the eye. Jeez. Now I'm creating some fake lashes on the bottom there. I'm just creating them a little bit more long on the outer part of the eye and then creating them shorter going in towards the center of the eye. And I'm just using black paint for this. Now I'm contouring my nose. I'm just taking the same blue shadow and making my nose look really, really skinny, and I'm bringing it up to that shadow line, and I'm going all the way down the center of the nose to the tip of my nose to make it look super, super skinny. And then I'm taking white shadow right up against those lines to make sure that contour is nice and sharp. Now I'm creating those nostrils. They're really pointy in the center there, and I brought them up kind of higher than I started with. That way they looked a little bit more pointy. And just make sure you blend them in with your natural nostril because you don't want to see any of that white or that blue skin showing through, I guess. And then create kind of a triangle on the tip of the nose there because her nose is really pointed and like triangular shaped. Now I'm doing a contour. I'm bringing it down towards the sides of my mouth and then bringing it up to the top of my hair, or to the top of my ear there where my hair kind of starts. And I'm blending it up towards my temple a little bit, but I want to create that hollowed cheek kind of effect. So I'm bringing it down once it reaches more towards my mouth. And again, I'm just using that same blue shade from the Electric palette. It's the perfect shade of blue, I swear. To make sure those cheekbones are really prominent, I'm just taking a matte white eyeshadow and basically highlighting my cheekbones, but with a matte shade to make them pop a little bit more. And then I'm drawing out that little hollow space cutout thing she has on her face. So I'm just filling it in with a black paint, creating some little lines to make it look all cracked and broken. And then I'm taking that same white eyeliner and just highlighting the edges of it to make it look like the skin is kind of lifted around it. So it's not just a black spot on our face, if that makes sense. Now I am doing the bone arm. I'm filling in the whole bone going down my arm with the white paint. And then I'm taking a light brown kind of grayish shadow and I'm shading around the edges of that bone to make it look more old. And then filling in the rest of the arm with black. I first went in and went along the edges of the bone, and then I took a big brush and filled in the rest of my arm black. I did have to do about 2 to 3 layers of the black just so it was nice and opaque. That's the crappy thing with water activated paints, is they're really hard to get opaque the first time around. I also went over the sides of my neck a couple of times to make sure it was nice and opaque as well. These were just finishing touches I had to do basically. And then I outlined parts of the bone to make sure it popped. Then I went ahead and put on my wig. I did make this headpiece myself with roses, black and white roses, a headband, and then I hot glued the veil to it. I just got the veil fabric from the fabric store, and I got half a yard of it. Now we're going to do our lips. I'm taking my Sephora lip liner in Bad Apple. It's kind of a brick red color, but I thought it would work. Since we're putting pink on top anyways, it would give the lips a nice contour, but she's got a really pointy Cupid's bow, and then her top lip is a little bit wider than her bottom lip, but her lips are big and voluptuous, so make sure you overline them. Taking my Sephora cream lip stain. This is in, ooh, something blush. I forgot. I'll put it on the screen for you guys. I'm sorry. It is a hot pink shade, and I'm just filling in my lips like I normally would, going right over that liner and making sure the top lip is wider than the bottom, like I said. And then I'm taking my white paint and just kind of cleaning up the edges where the blue didn't go all the way to the lips. And then I also did her little smile dimples there. I just took some white paint and went over them so they're a little bit more blended in and not so prominent. Went over my lips with a second coat of lipstick just to make sure they were nice and opaque, because you know me, I love opaqueness. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm so happy I got to recreate this look. The first time around, I really didn't like it. The tutorial for the first Corpse Bride look I did is on my channel. You can go back and find it. It was okay, but I knew I could do better, so that's why I wanted to recreate it. Like I said, I didn't want to wait till Halloween to show you guys. I just thought I did a fab job. Loved it so much, and I hope you guys did too. So thank you guys so much for watching as always, and I'll catch you next time. Make sure you're subscribed to see all of my Halloween looks coming up this season. See you guys next time. Bye.